division of the kingdom Plantae, these members are, first of all, the main plant body of these members are diploid. That is, being advanced ones, these are diploid organisms. That is the 2N organisms. So what do you understand by the diploid term? That is carrying the two set of chromosomes. Carrying two sets of chromosomes, where the gametes, if produced, will carry all the information from the parent, right? So the very first feature is these organisms shows the diploid structure, right? The second feature is these organisms, the organisms belonging to the gymnospermy group of kingdom Plantae, they are non-flowering plants. We call them as non-flowering. Why we call them as non-flowering plants? Because they do not bear the flowers, they do not bear the enclosed structures. And because of this only, their ovules are also naked. Ovules are also naked. Naked means they are not covered. Okay, not covered. Now, non-flowering plants means they are not having any flower. If the floral structure is not there, that is the ovary, and the ovary wall is also not there. If the ovary wall is not present, that means the ovules are not covered. Initially, we have studied in the angiospermy. I am making the diagram for the angiospermy. There is an ovary wall, and inside which there is the presence of the ovules. Like this, you used to make the flower structure. Na? In the 10th class also, we have made the flower structure with the ovary wall like this. So, if the ovary wall is present, we say these are the flowering plants and their ovules are covered with the help of the ovary wall. But here in this case of the gymnospermy, the ovary wall is absent. The ovary wall is not present, so the ovules becomes exposed. That is, they become naked. Why the ovules are also called as naked ovules or they are not covered? That is because of the absence of ovary wall. You can write this character also. That is because of the absence of ovary wall. There is no covering around the ovules. Clear? So this is what we call it as. These are the major features of the division gymnospermy. And also coming to the plant type, what is the characteristic of its plants? सबसे पहले, the very first is the plants. They are woody types. That is, they can be either in the form of a tree, they are trees, or in the form of short-heighted plants, woody plants called as shrubs. Fine. Coming to the structure of the plant, that is the stem, root as well as the leaves. The stems, they can be both branched or unbranched. Stems can be branched in some species or unbranched in others. Fine. The example of the plant having the branched stem, that is Pinus. And the example of the plant having the unbranched stem, example is Cycas. These are the two common plants and they can be grown in our homes also, right? We have them at our home also. So these are very common species of the gymnosperm, right? Coming to the second vegetative part, that is the roots. Now what about the roots of the gymnospermy plant? The gymnospermy plant's roots may show certain specializations, as in the case of the Pinus. Pinus example is there, as we have already discussed. In the case of the Pinus, the roots, they make an association with the fungal members. Okay? These are showing the association with fungal members. Fungal members means the members of kingdom fungi. So they are termed as mycorrhiza. What is the term given to them is a mycorrhiza. So this is mycorrhiza. Clear? And also the example for Cycas. In the case of Cycas, again the roots are very specialized and these are called as the coralloid roots. Coralloid roots because they help in the nitrogen fixation. So the specialization of the roots in the Cycas, it is termed as coralloid roots, and the one for the Pinus, it is called as the mycorrhizal roots, right? Why mycorrhizal roots? Because they are having the association with the myco members. Myco stands for the fungi. Rhiza stands for the roots. So myco means fungal and rhiza means roots. They are making an association. So this association is seen possibly in the members like Pinus, and in the cycas there are another specialized roots which are called as the coralline roots, and they help in the nitrogen fixation, because they are actually helping in the nitrogen fixation because they are making an association with the lower organisms here again, right? That is with the cyanobacteria. Coralloid roots are having the association with cyanobacteria. You may write here having an association with lower organisms like cyanobacteria, right? Then coming to the third vegetative part, that is the leaves. The leaves are highly, you can say, modified just to overcome the various climatic conditions, that is like temperature conditions, humidity conditions, or the wind conditions. So the leaves are also modified. In some plants you will see that the leaves, they have become needle like in the case of the pinus, the leaves are needle like. Needle like means they have been reduced. If you see a normal leaf structure, what it is having the normal leaf structure like this, that is, it is having the leaf lamina and the margin and everything. But in the case of the pinus, just to reduce out the loss of water, that is to reduce the rate of transpiration, these leaves have been modified into the simple needle-like structures. The needle-like structures are formed. Fine. So these are the general features. Coming to the reproductive features, these were the vegetative features, that is the stem, root and the leaves, and the trees and the shrubs are formed in the vegetative parts as the vegetative parts of the plant, gymnospermy members. Coming to the next is the gymnosperm's reproductive phase. Reproductively, the gymnosperms are heterosporous. We have studied these terms in the Pteridophyta also. What do you understand by the term homosporous and heterosporous? Homosporous is bearing the same kind of the spores on the same thalli. Heterosporous bearing the different type of the spores on the different thalli or on the same thalli, right? So here also it can be on the different thallus, yeah, this the different trees can be involved, or on the same tree it can be involved. Okay, same ke liye, for example, is when the two different type of the spores, that is the male and the female, they are born on the same plant. That is the two cones, they are seen on the same plant. The example is that of pinus. And when they are born on the different plants, that is the male and the female plant is different, then the example is here is that of cycas. Why I'm taking the examples of pinus and cycas? Again, I'm saying that is because these two plants are very common at our own place. So that is why we are taking the example of pinus and cycas. We also used to show it into you to you people in the labs also, in your practicals as a syllabus. So these are very commonly available type of the plants of the gymnospermy. Otherwise, the other examples which you will be learning here, they'll be all seen in the mountainous regions, in the hilly regions. Okay. So these are very simple to be found here in our own place, right? So this is the heterosporous condition. Heterosporous means bearing the different type of the gametes on either the same plant, that is the same one plant is there, and both type of the cones, that is the male cone and the female cone, are born on the same plant. And whereas they can be also found on the different plants, right? That is in the case of the cycas. Clear? Coming to the cone structures, the cone structures, as we have already studied for the Pteridophyta also, that cone-like structures have been made, that is strobilus have been made in the Pteridophyta, but there we studied that there is one axis along which both micro as well as the megasporophylls are arranged, right? In the last lecture of the Pteridophyta, I'll again make that cone structure, that is the strobilus which we have studied for the Pteridophytes. In there, we have studied that there are megasporophylls at the base are arranged and the microsporophylls are arranged just above it, like this, filling this whole axis and making it a cone structure like this, right? In the axils are found the sporangium. Same way here also the axils are found the sporangium, carrying the spores in it. That is the megaspores in the megasporangium over the megasporophyll. We have studied this now. These are the megaspores over the mega in the within the micro sorry, within the megasporangium and over the megasporophyll, right? Similarly, in the axils of the microsporangium, that is microsporophyll, microsporangium, and will be found number of microspores. But there it was a case with a single cone was having number of spores arranged over that. The two different kinds of the spores were arranged over that only. There was a single cone. But here the male and the female cones are different. Male strobulus is differently arranged and the female strobulus or the cone is differently arranged. So strobulus was what? That is a structure which is cone-like. So here it is a male strobulus or the male cone and the female strobulus or the female cone. This is also a very important feature of the gymnosperms that the cones are formed here because there are no flowers, no fruits. So the cone structures are formed, right? The cones that which carries a male gamete as well as a female gametes. Clear? In this case, हाँ heterosporous structures हैं ये सारे. Heterosporous means that is because these are hetero means different, sporous means carrying the spores, है ना. तो we told you that spores carrying structures जो होते हैं वो differently arranged भी हो सकते हैं. That depends upon the thalli, that also depends upon the cones. ठीक है. Even the cones being different, they are also the thalli only ना, over which the spores are formed, right? So these are the thalli, that is the leaf-like structures that which are formed, and the leaves they are cone-like structures. The leaves they are the cones that which are forming the, that which are carrying the sporangium in it, and the sporangium that which carries the spores in it. ठीक है जी, right? So this is having the different thallus. Thallus can be considered as a whole plant or can be considered as a cone simply. Okay, so this is heterosporous condition. Fine. Coming to the next is the talking about the male cones and the female cones. Whenever the gametes are produced, gametes like these spores are produced. I told you about these are the microspores and these are the megaspores. So whenever these are being formed, they will be always formed over the sporophyll structure. Sporophyll is the leaf-like structure. Okay, so this is the megasporophyll. They are carrying a sac-like structure called as megasporangium, in which are packed the megaspores. Now the megaspore or a microspore, whenever they are being formed, they are formed from their mother cells, right? We call them as megaspore mother cell or a microspore mother cell. Clear? A single cell that which gives rise to the megaspores, that is the megaspore mother cells. The same concern will be also seen in the angiospermy life cycle, but you can just correlate it afterwards. We will be correlating it with the angiospermy also. Just listen to this as a small concept of it. The megaspores, when they are born from the megaspore mother cells, initially one megaspore mother cell undergoes a meiotic division. Because it is undergoing the meiotic division, so it is understood that this structure was 2n, and now the furtherly the structures which will be produced here, they will be all 4 in number and they will be all haploid in their structure, right? The megaspore mother cell is a single cell which undergoes meiosis because it was diploid structure, and the newly created structures, they will be all haploid structures. Fine. Each haploid structure now becoming functional forms the female gametophyte. That is the functional megaspore. When it will be functionable, when it is further forming the further stages, it will be forming one female gametophyte. Each of these forms female gametophyte, and each female gametophyte carries the megaspores in it. Clear? So initially when the structures are being produced, initially when you think of a plant which is being produced, it is very small. Like when we sow the seeds, then it is like a seed-like structure, and then the seeds they grow up, they show the formation of the root stem and the leaves, and then they grow up to their maximum height. After attaining their maximum height, they will then start their functions, that is forming the cones and everything. So whenever the new structure is being formed, it is always starting from a single cell, right? The single cell then undergoes so many divisions, cleavages, and then forms the further parts. Clear? It is not like the thing कि plant बना and directly megaspores उसके ऊपर develop थे, ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है? right? So this is the megaspores which will be formed. It will be only when the divisions or the cleavages will take place in the life cycle. And the cleavages or the divisions are taking place in this manner that the megaspore mother cell is there, which undergoes meiosis, thereby producing the 4 number of the haploid cells, each becoming functional, forming the female gametophyte bearing the megaspore cell. Clear? Done. Same happens for the microspore mother cell as well. That is the microsporic gametophyte will also be there. Microgametophyte, that is a male gametophyte. And the male gametophyte, which is reduced structure. Here in the plants, in the gymnospermy plants, the male gametophyte is a reduced structure and that is equivalent to the pollen grains of the angiospermy. That which is carrying the male gametes. Okay. As in the pollen grains, we have studied the two male gametes are present. We'll be also relating it with the angiospermy plant. Till now, is it clear? First of all, tell me. These were the main features. After this, the fertilization will take place, and after that, the fertilization zygotes results into the embryo, and embryo finally resulting into the again a complete new plant, that of the gymnosperm. The life cycle, detailed life cycle of any species of the gymnosperm is not there in your NCERT syllabus, but we'll be learning the detailed life cycle of the angiospermy plants, right? So if it is clear, I'll start with the next topic, that is the angiosperm. I'll show you the whole of the characteristics. Just wait. So these are the characteristic features. If these are clear to you all, then I shall proceed with the angiosperm. I think you people have written them all. Okay. So now I'm going to start with the next division, that is the division angiospermy. Division angiospermy is also equivalent to this gymnospermy because angiosperms, they are the maximum advanced type of the organisms of the highly advanced type of the organisms of the kingdom Plantae are the division angiospermy Plantae members. Angiospermy plant members, they are the ones that which bear the flowers. It is ER. Very sorry. Anji. So this is angiospermy plant members, that which are the flowering members, flowering plants, right? The main plant body is again the same, that is diploid with two set of chromosomes. But here they are not non-flowering, these are flowering structures. So they are flowering structures, so they bear the flowers as the only reproductive part for them. That is the part of the plant which helps in the sexual reproduction. So here the ovules are not naked, these are covered with the ovary wall. So ovules are covered. For angiospermy, I'm making the changes in the gymnospermy only because sometimes you get to have the differences. So wheresoever I am erasing the things and writing, they are the differences. Where I am leaving them same, they are the similarities. Okay. So ovules are covered in the case of angiospermy and the ovary wall is present. So you will write the presence of ovary wall is there, that which results into the formation of a fruit wall. After ripening, the ovary wall forms a fruit wall. Here the plants can be all trees, shrubs or even the herbs. Because they are flowering, if they will be belonging to the angiospermy group. The stems can be branched, unbranched. Roots also, some of the members, they show the what do you say, associations with the higher organisms. Higher organisms roots, they show the association with the lower organisms as well, right? So examples are not the same. The root systems can vary in the angiospermy as we have studied for the morphology chapter. What we have studied from the morphology chapter is the roots can be in the different styles. That is, they can be taproot system, adventitious root system or the fibrous root system. Adventitious, taproots or fibrous root. Whatsoever the structures we have studied for our flowering plants in the modifications chapter, that is all applicable here also, right? The leaves, they are not reduced here now, they are properly expanded form mein, and the leaves, they show their different structures. They can be simple or they can be compound, as you have studied for morphology chapter, that is simple or compound leaves. Even they can be pinnately compound or palmately compound. For the general features, we can write them all: pinnately compound or palmately compound, right? So these are the features of the leaves, stems and the roots. Coming to the reproductive part, that is a flower. The structure of flower is very clear to you all people. Now coming directly to the life cycle of it, in which we'll be discussing the parts of the flower as well as the different structures also, right? How the gametes are being produced in the case of the angiospermy plants. Okay, clear? So coming to the life cycle of any flowering plant of angiospermy, we are just making it for general. Life cycle of the members of angiospermy. Here there is the first structure which is produced, the reproductive part of the plant which is produced as a flower. So सबसे पहले there is a flower which is born over the plant which is reproductive in its nature. The flower structure we have already studied, that there is a peduncle which becomes modified. In the modifications chapter we have studied this, forming the receptacle. This carries the ovary as the female reproductive part, ovary, style and the stigma. Within it is present the ovary wall. Don't forget to make this ovary wall ever, right? And within it are found the ovules. Clear? Then next is the angiosperms also have the bisexual or the unisexual kind of the flowers. So here I am making the bisexual flower in which the male and the female are found together. The male organ, that is this stamen, with the anther and a filament. Similarly, on the other side, you can make as many stamens as you want. I'm just making two of these. Then they are covered by the other non-essential parts like that of the petals and sepals. Colorful petals and the green colored sepals. So this is a flower which is a diploid structure. The main plant organism body, this is diploid in its nature, right? Coming to individual parts of the reproductive parts of this flower, that is the male reproductive part and the female reproductive part. Okay, so I'm making them as zoomed ones. For the male reproductive part, that is an anther, that there are two lobes in this anther. It can be monothecous, it can be bithecous. We have already studied from morphology chapter. So this is, I'm making the bithecous one, which is most commonly found in the flowers. Each lobe carrying two pollen sac. So two lobes will be carrying four pollen sac. The pollen sac, they are carrying the pollen grains in it like this, right? But initially, these pollen grains, what structure you people have studied, these initially were the microspore mother cells. Clear? So initially when they are found or when they are formed, there is a microspore mother cell. This is microspore mother cell. Initially when microspore mother cell is there, it undergoes the cleavage. Cleavage, what type of the cleavage? That is meiosis. I told you because these were the two end structures, so they undergo meiosis. When the meiosis results, it results into the formation of four new structures. Every time the meiosis, that results into the four cells production, and each cell will be N in its nature. So this forms a new structure which we call it as a pollen tetrad. What is pollen tetrad? Pollen tetrad is the one in which the pollen grains are joined together. That is, these are four in number. The pollen grains are four in number and they are all joined together initially. They are not differentiated. They are joined together to form a structure which is called as a pollen tetrad. Okay. Each of these will be separated. Each of these will be separated further and it will be forming a pollen grain. Now, what is the structure of a pollen grain? The pollen grain has the intine as well as exine. Intine is the inner membrane, exine is the outer membrane. At places, the exine and intine are fused, forming the germ pores, right? You can make it at one place, at two places differently. So this is the outer covering called as exine, inner covering called as intine. This is the cytoplasm of the pollen grain and this is the germ pore. Germ pore from where the pollen tube has to be arranged. Clear? Done. On one side, I am completing it first of all. That is for the male reproductive structure. Coming to the nucleus of it. This was having a single nucleus. The single nucleus in its developmental stages inside the anther itself. Just make it very sure in your mind that is these changes are taking place within the anther only. It undergoes the first cleavage forming the two nuclei, right? Now it can be dispersed at this stage of two nucleated stage or it can be dispersed at three nucleated stage. What is this three nucleated stage? Initially when there was one nucleus, it undergo division, forms two nuclei, right? The one nucleus does not undergo the division further, but the second again undergoes the division, forming two more nuclei. That is one, though initially that was there only, and one another has been added. These which are formed after the second division, they are called as the male gametes. Now here comes that definition of gametophyte. We studied just in the gymnospermy right now, we studied that there is a male gametophyte, which is a pollen grain. It is carrying the male gametes. So the structure is same to that of the gymnosperm, right? Gametophyte is what? That which is carrying the gametes. Okay, right? So this is the developmental stages. And then the anther, then formation of the pollen tetrad, and then the pollen grain. Okay, so this is the structure, we call it as the pollen grain. The pollen grain can show the pollination either at the two cell stage or at the three cell stage. Either at the two nucleated stage or the three nucleated stage. So three nucleated is when the male gametes are formed and two nucleated is rarely found when the male gametes are not produced, they will be produced on the stigma. Okay. Coming to the female part now. This is the female part. Now within the ovary, there is a structure of the ovule. Initially also within the ovary, there is a megaspore mother cell. First of all, I am starting with the megaspore mother cell. The megaspore mother cell, this is a megaspore mother cell that which undergoes meiosis again, forming the megaspore tetrad, right? So that is, it undergoes meiosis, forming a tetrad. The tetrads in the pollen grains can be of different shapes. As for the female, I'm making it a linear shape, right? So it can be in any house. For 5. 1 second. You are to make only 4 in number 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 cells are produced after meiosis. Each is N in its structure, that is haploid in the structure. Now there is one type of the development taking place mostly in the angiospermic plants. We call that development as a monosporic development. What is that monosporic development? Monosporic development in the flowering plants is the one in which 3 out of 4 gets degenerated and only one megaspore that becomes functional, right? So how it takes place? The 3 are getting degenerated. So this is first megaspore, second megaspore and the third megaspore. They have been degenerated and only one becomes functional. So this is one becoming Functional. This is the functional megaspore. In gymnosperms, we just studied that the megaspores produced will form the female gametophyte. But here it is not that. In all the plants, maximum arranged or maximally you can say involved is a development which is called as a monosporic development. So the one becomes functional megaspore and the others gets degenerated. Functional megaspores and these becomes degenerated megaspores. Clear? The functional megaspore further undergoes 3 times mitotic division. This will undergo 3 times mitosis division. Now, if your this class will be over because the time is going to be over, and if it will be over, then I'll be continuing this with this topic only, with this diagram only. That is by tomorrow. Okay, clear? No need to worry with this. This will be all continued tomorrow, right? Anji, let me take your attendance at the end also. Yes. So this functional megaspore will continue with 3 mitotic divisions. 3 times mitosis is going to take place here. 3 mitosis. 3 mitosis resulting in the formation of first mitosis, 2 nuclei, second mitosis, 2 more, 1 from each side, and third mitosis, 2 on each side more. That is a total of 8 nucleus, right? From these 8 nuclei, 1 from each side comes in the center. Anyone it can be. 1 from each side. You can look it from there. There are total of 8 nuclei resulting after 3 mitosis divisions. 1 from each side comes to the center and the 3 are positioned at the poles, resulting in the formation of the female gametophytes structure, that is ovules structure. What is that structure? It is like this is the female gametophyte. The 3 cells, first cell, second cell and the third cell get located at the pole. Also, the 3 cells get located on the opposite poles and 2 nuclei get arranged in a single cell within the center. So this is the female gametophyte which carries the female gamete which is an egg cell. This biggest cell is the egg cell. Egg cell. The female